Our anxious brain can have us thinking so many emotionally distorted thoughts. Like, yeah, we had plans and it sucks because they blew me off tonight, but if I get angry and tell them how I really feel about it, I run the risk of them never wanting to go out with me again. And then not only am I alone tonight, I'm alone for all the rest of my weekends. This is not the relationship I want. This isn't how I pictured things going when we first started talking to each other. But I guess I'll take what I can get. They're so wonderful and special, and I should consider myself lucky that they're even giving me any time of their day. It's this dangerous scarcity mindset that pushes our boundaries around, making them a little more wobbly, and they become more like a preference, a suggestion, instead of a hard line. Hello friends, my name is Maria, and for almost 20 years, my boundaries were a suggestion in a relationship. Could you please respect my boundaries instead of respecting my own boundaries and walking away when something wasn't fitting my needs and wasn't feeling right for me? Now, I don't know about you, but I can look back and think of quite a few dating scenarios where sometimes even just 3 weeks into beginning to date someone, they would do something or say something that really took me back, and it was like, oh, that was them showing me who they were going to actually show up as in our relationship. And instead of doing what I should have done, which was realizing this isn't going to work out, all of my anxiety and my scarcity mindset told me, no, this person is the one, so you need to find a way to make it work. Well, now I'm here to tell you that it is simply not true. It's not true in relationships, but it's not true in all kinds of relationships. A scarcity mindset is not letting you see the reality of life, which is you do not have to work for that abusive boss. You do not have to put up with that toxic friend. You don't have to put up with that person you're dating who keeps throwing you over to hang out with somebody else whenever the mood suits them. Well, it's not good to just write people off for personality quirks. How do you recognize what's actually a quirk and what's going to be problematic in a relationship that's right for you? Well, if you're ready to learn the difference between fun quirks and toxic jerks, then grab a bottle of nail polish and let's talk. There is one clear way that I have found that will help you tell the difference between someone who made a mistake, they didn't mean to hurt your feelings, maybe they're just getting to know you, and someone who is pushing your boundaries to find out exactly who you are, and they're showing you exactly who they are. I'd like to give you an example that will help illustrate this point. It was something that happened to me last week, not in a romantic relationship, but in a relationship that I am currently in. And if you follow me on social media, I'll put the link down below. You'll know that this week I was talking about how a lot of different relationships, work, friendships, family, and romantic, they have a lot of parallels. A lot of times people who show you exactly who they are as a coworker, well, that's the kind of person they're going to show up as if you date them. And while we've all heard people say, well, you know what, you teach people how to treat you, I feel like if you are interacting with someone that you have to teach to be respectful to another human being, they're probably not the kind of person that you would like to have a long-term relationship with. So let me give you the scenario, and I'll tell you the difference about how in the past, how scarcity mindset Maria would have handled it, and how abundance mindset Maria handled it. And you can tell in the dating world, it works exactly the same. I see a gym trainer twice a week, and lately on Fridays, he's been showing up a little bit later than usual. He's always running a little bit late, but this seemed to be getting excessive. Now, he's not showing up there just for me. I'm also showing up for him because I am a paying customer who is investing my time and my money into this relationship. And I enjoy the results I get with him. I'm also getting something out of it. But I noticed he was getting pretty lax on showing up in time, so week after week I'd say, hey, are you still okay with meeting on Friday evenings? It's the only other evening I can meet. And he'd say, oh yeah, of course. But then one day, he was almost 30 minutes late. And in the past, let's say that this was a date. In the past, I would have texted, said, hey, where are you? I'm here already. But No, I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. He knew the time that we were meeting. I am investing as a paying customer. So I got up and I was just going to go home. And then when he showed up, I'd say, sorry, you were 30 minutes late and I assumed you weren't coming. Now, as I was walking out the door to get in my truck and go home, he pulls up. He saw me leaving. And I said just that. I was like, oh, I was just leaving because I thought that you weren't going to show up. Now, in my mind, this is considered a warning shot. Like I said before, I am getting something out of the relationship. I am happy with him in general as a trainer. However, his chronic lateness more and more showing up to our Friday meetings was beginning to feel disrespectful of my time. He was clearly prioritizing something else, even though we had plans together. Now, if this had been someone I was dating in the past, what I would have done is nag and bitch and moan and shake my emotional fists and let them know how their behavior was completely unacceptable, but not the Maria of today. Instead, I was just going to leave. I was no longer going to be wasting my own time because he's an adult and he's choosing how to treat me. I felt like showing him with my actions that I wasn't going to wait around for that kind of thing, and I wasn't going to invest my money into the appointment that day. Now, if you are in a dating or relationship scenario when the other person does something and it bothers you, and even if they didn't realize what they were doing was bothering you, the moment they realize it, they show you they care about you by either apologizing or they just stop the offending action. Well, back to the story. Let's cut to, it was the very next Friday after this happened and he saw that I was about to leave. Do you think that he showed up on time for me? No. This time he wasn't 30 minutes late, he was an hour late, except this time he was a little more clever. He got me to keep my booty in the chair because he sent me a text saying he would be right there. Well, I have to be honest with you, by the time he walked into the door, I was already pretty upset, but I have learned how to keep more emotional self-control, and I look at him just to see what he's gonna say. He did tell me he was sorry and then followed it up immediately with, I'm sorry, but I was just so tired and I hadn't been able to eat all day. I really needed to cook my food before I showed up here. Well, I did the math with the time in my head since the original text he sent me that he was gonna be a little late, but he'll be right there. That man cooked an entire meal, sat and ate it before he came to meet me at the gym, knowing that I was waiting for him after we agreed to a specific time. People will show you exactly where you are on the priority list if you pay attention. If you're dating someone who's doing things like this is already a pretty big red flag. You have expressed that you do have a boundary towards a certain kind of behavior, and then pretty quickly after that, they ratchet up the bad behavior. But that was only one part of what he did. Not only did he show me that I wasn't very high on his priority list, even though I am investing. This isn't a charity. I'm paying him. I am investing in the relationship. He also told me that he was so tired that day. I was lucky he even showed up at all. I mean, I'm also investing my time and money in this relationship, but hey, I should consider myself lucky that he's even giving me the time of day. The Maria of the past probably would have believed that. I mean, to be honest with you, he's a really good trainer. I have a lot of fun with him, and it sure doesn't hurt that he is a charismatic cutie on top of it. But you know what? Welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also have to take care of the inner half. Because if we can't see how many awesome things we bring into a relationship, like kindness and company for them on their weekends, if we can only see the great things about them and what they're doing for us, then we will only think about how lucky we are to have them, but never the other way around. And I promise you, just because one person doesn't see that, they might never realize it. Doesn't mean there aren't hundreds or thousands of people out there who would appreciate your time. My trainer's actions were completely out of control and unacceptable. And the moment he told me that I was lucky he even showed up was the moment I made the firm commitment in my mind that I was no longer training with him on Fridays anymore. Some people might say, well, that sucks, Maria. You're just punishing yourself. Now you're not getting your workout. That's not true. That's how the past Maria used to think. Oh, I would have made excuses for this guy until the cows come home. But I don't have a scarcity mindset anymore. Worst case scenario, on Friday evenings, I've got dumbbells, I've got a bench, I can do my own workout with YouTube at home. But you know what? It wouldn't even come down to that. I mean, heck, I live in Florida. There's got to be at least 22 gyms within a 10-mile radius of my house. He's not the only gym trainer in town, and there are probably 100 other trainers that live and work here who would be grateful to have me as a client on Friday nights, and they would love for me to invest in them with my money. And this is how things open up for you in the dating world when you no longer have the scarcity mindset. You know that the person you're dating isn't the only person that likes to go to Chili's for a few drinks on Fridays. The ex that you've been having a really hard time getting over because you guys had so much fun together, well, they're not the only person on the planet that's really excited about Beetlejuice 2 coming out this September. You can find someone to go line dancing with. You can find someone to go to a cooking class with. You can find someone who also likes to go out and have fun. We're human beings. We love to feel good. And I know that is especially hard. If you've been in a relationship with someone for a while, I get it. Some people really get into our hearts, and they are very special to us, and they will always be a significant person in our life. But if they are violating your boundaries and ratcheting up the bad behavior and then turning around and hurting your feelings on top of that, they don't deserve for you to be a significant person in their life. They're not someone worth investing in anymore. You deserve someone who invests just as much as you do in them, and you are someone worth investing in because you are good as gold by Essie Nails. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting The Other Half.